What's up everyone, welcome back to this YouTube channel. I hope you all are doing well, and today in this video we are going to continue our web scraping series. In the previous video, as you all know, I showed you how we can scrape dynamically loaded websites using Python without using the Selenium library. And in this video we are going to see how we can use free proxies in our web scraping project. And I'll show you where to get the free proxies and how to get free proxies and how to use them. But before we start this video, I would like you to subscribe to my channel. It keeps me motivated for making these kind of videos. So without wasting any more time, let's get right into this video. So as you can see on my screen, I am on this GitHub page. It's actually a proxy list. They update it, I think, every day. And they are all free proxies. You can use them in your projects, in your web scraping projects. But the problem with these free proxies is that if we have a list of 100 proxies, only let's say 6 or 10 or 20 proxies are going to work. So even if you have a big list of proxies, few of them are going to work, and this problem needs to be solved. So if we have a list of proxies, most of them are going to fail. We need to filter those out. We need to filter those proxies that actually work, and we need to filter out those proxies that don't work. And to do that, we have two options. Either we can do it on the runtime, or we can filter them out first and store them in a file, then use them. But by doing that, if we are storing them in a file, these proxies are going to die down in few days, and they are going to be useless anyways. So we are not going to filter them out and store them in a file. Rather, we are going to filter them on the runtime. Let's see how we can do that. So the first thing I'll do is I'll try to scrape all these proxies. I'm not going to download the file. I'm going to use requests to scrape all these proxies. So I'll copy this link from here, and I'll come back to my Visual Studio Code, and I'll paste it down here, and I'll store it in a variable proxy underscore URL. So we'll store it there. Now we will import the requests and beautiful soup module. So I'll say import requests, and I'll say from bs4 import beautiful soup as bs. Now let's start scraping all those proxies. So the first thing we need to do is we need to make a get request to this URL. So I'll say r is equal to requests.get proxy underscore URL, and then let's print out r.text. Let's see what we get. So if we run the code, you can see we get the content of the page. It's pretty long, yeah, but what we are interested in is the proxies. So here we have the proxies, but they are all stored in a table. So we need to find this TD element which has a class of this thing right here. So what I will do is I'll come down here. Let me make it smaller. So I'll come here and I'll say soup equals to bs. I'll pass in request r.content, and I'll use the html.parser. All right, and then I'll say dot find underscore all. What we want to find is the TD element, and it has a class of this thing. So I'll copy all of this from here and paste it down here. This line of code here is going to find all the TD elements which have this class. So we will get a list of all these elements that look like this, and all will be stored in a list. Now we need to actually grab the proxy and the port number from this element. There's a simple way to do that. I'll say proxies is equal to list comprehension, and I'll say proxy dot text for proxy in soup. So as I already told you, this soup contains all these elements, a list of all these elements. So we are looping through all those elements, and we are grabbing the text from them, which is this thing. And as you know, it's the proxy that we are trying to scrape. Let's try it out. If I print the proxies now and run the code, you can see we got a list of proxies. So these are all the proxies that we have on this page, and now we have scraped them and we have stored them inside a list. Now what I'll do is I'll actually make a function and store this block of code inside that function. So I'll say def get underscore proxies, and it's going to return, it's not going to print, it's going to return proxies. All right. Now what we want to do is we want to create a function that's going to give us a random proxy every time, and it's going to return it in a format that the request module accepts. So let's define a function def get random proxy. It's going to take one argument, and that's going to be the list of proxies. So I'll say proxies, and inside here we are going to return a dictionary, and it's going to have one element and one key, and that key is HTTPS because we are going to use the HTTPS proxies, and the value of that thing is going to be choice proxies. So if you are wondering where did this choice come from, I have already imported it. It's the method from the random module which lets us select a random element from a list. So we are trying to get a random proxy from the list of proxies here. So this is what it's going to do, and it's going to wrap it inside this dictionary and it's going to return it. So now that we have done that, let's create a function that will get us the working proxies. The way I'm going to do it is going to be a little different because sometimes I want to get, let's say, 2 or 3 proxies only. So I don't want to check all the proxies that are in my list. I want to get some random proxies, let's say 30 or 40 proxies, and check if I can get, let's say, 5 or 3 or 4 or 5 proxies, working proxies from that list of proxies. Let me show you. Actually, it's going to make sense when we start writing it. So let me create a function get working proxies, and inside here I'll define a for loop for I in range, let's say 10 for now. And what I want to do inside here is I want to define proxy, and it's going to be equal to a random proxy, and we are going to get that from get random proxy, and we will provide the proxies as a parameter. In order to use this proxies, we first need to define it. So I'll say proxies is equal to get underscore proxies. So this line of code here will get all the proxies and store them inside this proxies variable. And then we are using that variable here to get a random proxy. After I have done that, let's run a try except block. So I'll say try r equals to request dot get, and inside here we will make a request to google.com. So I'll say https://www.google.com, and I'll say proxies equal to proxy, and I'll define timeout equals to 2 seconds. And in the accept block, let's just pass, and here let's print out r.status code. So this will tell us if the proxy is working or not. If the request is giving us the status code of 200, it means that we have established a connection with this URL, and it means that the proxy is working. If we got an error, it means that the proxy is not working. Let's run it and let's test it now. I'll say get underscore working proxies. So if I run the code now, let's see what happens. Okay, wait. Actually, we can add a print statement here saying that we are using this proxy. If I run it, let's see what we get. So you can see this one is not working. This one is not working as well. This one is not working as well. This one is not working as well. None of them is working so far. Okay, let's change this to 20. So we are only checking, and let's change this timeout to be 3 seconds. If I run it, so as you can see, we got one proxy and we got a status code of 200, which means that this proxy is working. Out of 20, we got so far one proxy which is working. So we just got one proxy that's working. So what we want to do now is we want to create a list here. Let's create an empty list working. And what we want to do here is we want to say if r.status code is equal to 200, then we want to append that proxy to our working list. So I'll say working dot append proxy, and at the end of this function we want to return, actually this working should be outside of this for loop, and at the end we are going to return this working, which is going to be a list of working proxies, Yeah, so this method here, get working proxies, will give you all the working proxies. Now you can use these proxies to in your web scraping project. So let me show you how you can use this list of working proxies now. So let's say I have a website, let's say URL equals to https pixels.com. So this is my URL and I want to make a proxy request to this URL. So what I'll do is I'll say proxy is equal to get underscore working proxies, and I'm going to wrap around this choice function from the random module, which is going to give me one random proxy from the list of all these proxies that we just found out. Then I can simply say request dot get URL comma proxies equal to proxy. Now, so if I will run this code, it will make a request using the proxy, a working proxy that we just found out of a huge list that we scraped from this GitHub page. So now you can modify this code however the way you want to use it in your web scraping projects. So I'll just given you the way to scrape some working free proxies, and now it's up to you how you use them in your web scraping projects. So I hope you learned something new from this video. I'm going to end this video now, but guys, I want you to subscribe to my channel because it helps me a lot, and I want you to like this video because there goes a lot of effort into making these videos, and it will be really nice and really appreciated if you like and subscribe to my channel. So yeah, this is it for this video. I'll see you in the next one. Peace out.